Let's dive right into this. So, I was just taking a shower. Seems like a lot of things kind of come to me in the shower. And my eyes were open as I was taking the shower, but I just realized that I wasn't actually seeing anything because my attention was on my thoughts. This is something that I've noticed before a lot, but it's never really connected in a way where I can actually verbalize it. And I think a lot of us, we can identify with this. It's we see, we don't actually see with our eyes. It's really interesting. Our eyes can be wide open, but we just won't be looking at anything. We'll be looking at things, so the eyes will be open, looking at things, but we're not seeing with our eyes. We'll be seeing our thoughts, right? We'll be eyes open, showering, but we're not actually seeing what we're looking at. We'll be seeing what we're thinking. So it's a really amazing, interesting thing, you know? It's just that it's our attention that is what sees. It's not our eyes that see. And that's why when through meditating or whatever you do, it doesn't have to be meditating. Whatever you do to like come out of the thoughts, you suddenly are in, people call it, being present, being in the now. You're finally actually seeing where you are. Your attention is here. And it's awesome, it's just like, wow, why is it that we don't see with our eyes and we don't listen, we're just not aware of what's going on around us because it's clearly just not interesting to us. We've seen it, we've heard it, we've smelt it, we've tasted it millions of times already. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? You've got to understand, that why this is happening is because there's nothing new. So what the most exciting, most newest stuff in our existence is happening right here. It's the ideas, the thoughts that we're creating of the future, of the past. And the thing is, like, we'll just constantly be creating new creative stuff. And just remember that there's this entity that's we can call attention, and this entity, our attention can come into your eyes, where you can actually finally see what you're looking at. It can come into your ears. It can come into anything, your taste, yeah. But for most of us, it's on our thoughts. In fact, our thoughts just grab the attention. And our attention is so powerful. It's the source of, I don't want to say it's the source of our energy, but let's say that our energy is like coming out of us because we constantly are generating energy. We're just like an energizer engine. And every second, energy is being generated. Now, where that energy goes depends on where we turn. It's like a hose pipe, and the tip of the hose pipe is our attention. And a lot of people suffer depression, anxiety, whatever, all these issues, sadness, because we're leaking all this attention. We're leaking out, pouring all this energy out, and most of it is going onto our thoughts. It's being poured out of us into just thoughts, things that don't even exist. So, which is why when people meditate, what they're doing is they're taking the tip of that attention hose pipe and they put it on themselves. They put it on. This is why yoga is so powerful. People put that attention on their breathing, which is another way of putting the attention onto yourself. And then you just become super energized. And it's why people, meditate and do yoga. After their meditation, after their yoga, they feel so energized. And it's the same with painting, with music. You can think of there's so many hundreds of other forms where Tai Chi is one, where you're like, people can become so energized because they're focused, their attention's right on themselves where they are. So, going back to the topic of this video, we don't see with our eyes. Our eyes can be open, but it'll just be blank. And I'm sure many of us, we can identify with this. We see with our attention. So eyes are just an organ. They're just on all the time. And when we choose our attention to come into the eyes, then we start to see. It's the same. Our ears are just always on. Our heart is always beating. It's always on. Our lungs are always on. And you know what? It's the same with our mind. Our mind is always on. It's always going to be thinking. You can't stop thinking. This is what people can be confused with spirituality and meditating. They think that you're supposed to stop thinking. Oh, how do I stop thinking? No. Your mind, just like your eyes, it's always going to be on. It's always going to be thinking, thinking, thinking. That's its job. There's nothing wrong with that. But you're only going to be aware of the thoughts, just as you're going to be aware of what you're looking at when your attention goes into the thoughts. So some people, might say, oh, I don't think. I'm a Buddhist monk. I don't think anymore. It's not that they don't think. Thinking is going on. It's just their attention is just not on it. And when your attention isn't on something, it just no longer exists in your life. So our life is, it's like a basket. And whatever our attention is on is what we choose to put into the basket. So we have to be very, very, very aware of this. First of all, being aware of your attention, it's a whole other video. It's a whole huge stage. And if you're there, I salute you. It's an incredible step. Now it's time for you to use your awareness. Because being aware of your attention is the first step. Your attention is not the final layer. There's a layer behind it as well. So be aware of your attention. And you can just do that. One way I like to do it is, that's easy for me, is that I pay more attention to my emotions, because thoughts are really difficult. Thoughts are like ghosts, and they can just spin around your attention and then take you. But emotions are a lot easier to spot. And there is a very strong relationship between thoughts and emotions. You usually have an emotion based on a thought. Actually, emotions are always triggered by thoughts, always. So I like to pay more attention to how I feel. And if I feel sad, anxious, angry, happy even, whatever feeling I have, I try to be aware. Okay, now I feel maybe not so comfortable. I feel self-conscious. Okay, and then once I identify that discomfort, I trace it back to what are the thoughts that are causing that. The thoughts that I'm making a video, this is going to be watched. My thoughts are that people are going to be watching and judging, what I'm saying. Okay, so being aware of your emotions is, for me, it's an easy way to be aware of what your attention is on. And usually when you feel really calm and energized, it's because your attention is no longer in your thoughts. When your attention is on your thoughts, there's a lot of stress. There's tension. It starts in your head, and then it can come into your shoulders. So scan your body for tightness And then, oh, there's tightness here. Why is that? Oh, I'm thinking of my bills. I didn't even realize this. Yeah. Okay, and then you relax it. So scan your body for tension. When you find it, relax it, but also try to be aware and, try to find the links of why your emotions are triggered by certain thoughts. All right. But yeah, remember, we don't see with our eyes, we see with our attention. Our entire existence is based on what our attention is on. And we create this world of ours, whether it's a dream or reality, it doesn't matter. It's happening. And we create this based on what our attention is on. If we're going to watch horror movies, negative news, sad music, whatever, surround ourselves with people that ruin our self-esteem, that make us feel like crap, our attention is basically feeding on toxic stuff. So it's just a case of taking your attention off those things. It can be hard sometimes. Let's say you have a toxic relationship with your family. That can be difficult, but you have to do it. And if people truly love you, they'll understand. All right, that's it. It's getting kind of long. I'm out of here, and I'll talk to you guys soon, or I'll talk to you guys soon, or I'll talk to nobody out there soon. I'm talking to myself.